Afternoon, gentlemen. Active Aussie here. Saturday, 1:40 p.m. A very gloomy afternoon here in Brisbane. Recently, I was watching a video by a guy called Cameron McGregor, who is an older millennial type guy, and I've watched a few of his videos before. He makes videos in regard to different societal issues, men's issues. Sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I do not. But the title of his last video was, I think, is the dating market doomed for average men? And even though I'm a MGTOW, I don't date, I like to have a bit of input into this type of topic, this type of issue. I think for most average men, yes, the dating market is doomed, but this guy, Cameron, had a more sort of optimistic sort of view, you could say, in regard to the issue. And he talked about how he feels the boomers were mostly blue-pilled and that Generation X, which is my generation, we were more sort of purple-pilled. But I sort of disagree, because even back in the mid-80s, late 80s, there were a lot of simps around, a lot of guys simping and leading with their wallet. And there were a lot of films, there was a lot of popular culture which portrayed men as being simps at the time. And you had movies, films such as Wall Street, where men were, you could say, leading with their wallet in that film. And I think some guys at the time, they didn't really get the proper morals of that movie and the proper message that it was trying to convey. But later on in the video, Cameron also said that the problem is that men need to be holding women accountable, holding them to certain standards of behaviour and a certain sort of moral code, you could say. And I feel, yes, there are some guys who are really trying to do that, but whenever we try to hold women accountable nowadays and hold them to certain moral and ethical standards, the first thing that happens is that usually men are just called misogynists or woman haters, and that we have no respect for women. They are some of the sort of lines that get trotted out. It seems that women just have value now. They have value just because they exist, or they are assumed to have value just for existing, whereas us guys, us men, do not. We are supposedly supposed to be continuing to add value all the time, and it's all about what does a man have to offer, and there's nothing in regard to what a woman should have to offer. So men are expected to provide value and women are not. And another thing Cameron mentioned was also that he feels that there are certain men and women also now who have just dropped out of the dating market altogether. These are the genuinely decent men and women of this generation, and for sure, I'm sure some of them still exist, but those sort of people are like under the radar, so to speak. They are not on dating sites, they're not going to bars and clubs, they're not really visible, not that visible with the community. Maybe that they just go to work, they run their business, they do their own thing, they might just come home. Maybe some of them just live with their parents and they have a dog or two dogs, some pets, whatever, and they're just living a sort of quiet type of life. And I feel there's nothing wrong with that. Those people living that sort of lifestyle have decided there are certain things in my life that are valuable, and I'm just going to ignore and discard the rest. And you can't blame people for having that sort of attitude, mindset and lifestyle when you look at how society is now. And I just don't think things are going to improve in the near future, because there are certain powers at B that just don't want things to improve, and they want society to be divided and have people at each other's throats. And I feel that's what cultural Marxism and communism is all about, having control over people's lives and having people conform to a certain paradigm, a certain sort of agenda. And that's what's been occurring, I feel. Some of you guys might have a different sort of take on it. I'm going to head back to the car because I think a very heavy shower is going to come through. We might get very heavy rain very shortly and some flash flooding, so I'm going to keep off the roads. But just thought I'd throw this out there. I might provide a link to Cameron McGregor's video on my community page, so look out for that one, and I'll talk to you later.